Thank you very much, and welcome to my little session. Um, let's start. I will talk slightly about who I am, which is related to the next two things, where you have to forget that I'm working for Neo4j, because this all is just a hobby thing that has nothing to do with my work. And in the end, I will tie it back down to Neo4j and adding some things from our ecosystem into the weird stuff that I'm doing in my own time. So I'm working for Neo4j since 2017. And what the really relevant part here is I moved. And I moved to Lübeck in northern Germany in 2022. And I'm working mostly remote for Neo4j. So I moved to a new place and I knew no one there. And I don't have any colleagues there, and I don't have an office there. So I still wanted to be part of the local, like anything local, right? A group, society, obviously. But what they did have was a very obscure little news portal called HL Live. HL for Hansestadt Lübeck. And this page is free. So everyone uses it. There's no paywall, but also this thing looks like it's stuck in the 2000s, and it has at least as much bugs as everything in the 2000s. So it's great. Another great thing about it is it has comments, anonymous comments on everything. And also they publish basically everything that you send to them. So there's lots of fun to be had there. Also, this is not the full page. It basically looks like this. It scrolls infinitely, and in the end, there's like ads upon ads upon ads upon ads. It's great. So there are articles on that page. For example, this one. I try to translate the important parts. No, this one is cute. That's actually the police basically doing this. I love it. Cool. There's also other kind of articles where the comments are where you can gain your fun from. For example, a cat takes a regional train from Lübeck to Hamburg. Great. Cool story. I take that. But the comments is where the magic is happening. Like this one from Meatloaf, like crazy, dodged the fair once and immediately behind bars. Great. But those are the harmless ones, right? Harmless fun, we are enjoying that. Imagine you have news about some construction projects for bicycle lanes. Different kinds of commenters, very different kinds. It goes, let's say, into some fascist direction rather quickly, sadly. But it's interesting, and everyone uses this page because no paywall, right? So that's great. And I'm a fan. I want to stress that. I'm a fan of the page, even though it's interesting. And that basically was where a little hobby project was born. And I had to make fun of it for friends of mine. So what I do is I take the data from the page, I scrape it every day, and just put it into Neo4j. And because my life is too easy, I also scrape it with Neo4j. There's no additional program. I'm just using the database for it. And then I have a bunch of data, and then just having fun with it, analyzing it, see what sticks. How do I do that? Well, there's the magic of enumeration. I won't call it an enumeration attack. Someone else might. And epoch. This is the whole script that I'm running all the time. And the real magic, if you are familiar with Cypher, is I'm running through some numbers that are going up, and I am concatenating those IDs with the URL, and with the magic of this little epoch call, epoch load HTML, I can basically access the data on the page, the actual HTML objects. And that's what I'm basically throwing into my database so that I can create a little graph that is very simple, just some articles about some places written by some authors and comments from some users on those articles. There's no magic in here. Well, what did I do with that? Well, you can have some statistics, right? We have a database, we can basically show the number of flea markets over time, which goes up, which is really great for me. I like flea markets. Also, I could throw some graph algorithms and have information about, are there actually groups of users who comment together all the time? Maybe there's some botnet going on. Nope, sorry. I was also a bit disappointed about that, but not really. I found loads of bugs, nothing to do with graph things, but since I was just enumerating the IDs of the things, I could basically go into the future and see things that weren't on the page yet. So I created HL Future, which does not work anymore because I published that before and they quickly patched that. Like they never patched anything as quickly as that, sadly. But it was fun while it lasted because you could see the flea markets before they actually were on the page. So I found that useful. Also, I had contact with lots of interesting egos in the comments. So there was this guy called the Dissident, and for some reason, some unknown person appeared in the comments and also took his name because I said anonymous comments, right? Everyone can use his name. And he was very hurt by that. And afterwards, he only appeared as the real, true dissident afterwards. And he used his real email address to verify that all the time. So now all the whole internet knows that he has a very interesting email address as well. Fun guy. Also, since I had all this data, we can also have fun with the data. So I built a little, what I call an art exhibition for comments. Here you have a game, basically, where you have a comment and you have to guess which kind of article this comment was under. And that's based on my kind of humor, but also sometimes it's just purely insanity. And also, like, I had all those data, and some of the comments were related to email addresses. So, of course, I also had those. So I decided, okay, let's send them an email and do a little scientific survey about what they think about, like, the city and the news portal and everything. And the most interesting thing I found is they also told me on their own terms what political direction they would think they are themselves. And for every kind of question that I asked them, people who identified as right-wing basically always had a worse life. They felt worse. They didn't live they didn't like to live in Lübeck as much as the other people. The only thing they had a higher score on is tolerance for ads. So that's some interesting thing that you can take home. Okay, let's step back. Let's add some aura onto this, because up until this point, my database was locally on my little machine. I was running this all the time, and sometimes I missed the day. You know how it goes. But I want to move this to the cloud, to Aura, because I want to use this with Aura agents, and we will see why I want to do that. But first, I have to move the database into the cloud. Luckily, my colleagues and I worked on a thing where it will be very easy, and I don't think it's released yet, but it will be any day now, where if you have a community edition on your machine, you can basically, as long as you have monitored it with fleet management, which is also just in the newest version included, you can go to Aura, you can click the one-click migration. It will tell you will probably need a machine of this size, and it will do everything for you. Upload it, be cool. But there's also another thing that we worked on, and that is a little wizard that will drive you through the migration. So it will tell you, you probably have a driver version that maybe not work in Aura, or you will have a query that we've noticed you're executing that will not work on Aura because maybe not all epoch procedures are supported. Epoch load HTML that I'm using is not supported in Aura. This should be flagged to the user, right? So it will be, you can either do it manually or there's an automatic one where we will just see that. And then you can choose the new Aura instance like normally, and then you also have the option to automatically let it migrate for you, or you do the database dump yourself and all the other things. But it can do everything for you as long as you're not behind some nasty firewall. So I'm not gonna treat you to waiting until the Aura instance is up. Let's just add an Aura agent to that. And to my colleagues, I have no experience with that. I used less than 5 minutes to do what I'm just going to show you. So if I'm adding one, I can basically tell it what to do, what kind of prompt I want. And I want an agent that helps me doing some investigations on my database, right? It should tell me about commentators, some unusual patterns, anything it finds. And it already added a few interesting tools that it can use if it needs to. So I can ask some questions. For example, I wanted to know for the top 10 commentators, what can we deduce from them, right? I want to investigate those. Okay, the top 10, that's not interesting, but it actually gave me a whole lot of information about them. I can with proof as well, like it's actually referring to specific things when it talks about them. Like the second one, for example, is very right-wing. The first one, not as much. The third one, more like a Green Party voter. That's definitely true when I look at their original posts. But this is a great start for an investigation, even though I wouldn't recommend people to go dig for other people's political affiliations. And then there was a different thing. I was very interested in the people who commented things about the local building council, because it felt like there's someone in there who leaks things on this forum. And I was asking it, tell me about people who comment about that. And I know some of the people already, but I didn't know this Trave person. The Trave is a river through Lübeck. So the guy probably is named Jan, right? So I was like, okay, can you guess for me, please, what party this guy is probably a member of? And again, don't do that at home, but after some deliberations, he basically, the Aura agent basically decided he's most likely a member of the Conservative Party. And this is where the story would usually end. But the guy actually doxed himself in a group where I'm also part of. So I know it's true. Aura was right. And that's where I want to end this. So very much. Thank you.